Margarita fruits.
Margarita fruits?
Yeah.
Margarita fruits?
Margarita fruits. Well, wait. A margarita fruit is where the margarita comes from.
Is that where it comes from? I always
Yeah.
wondered. If you juice a margarita fruit, you get a margarita mix?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Jimmy
Learned it here.
Buffett is rolling over in his grave right now.
Jimmy Buffett. He's like, wasted away a margarita fruit. I'm breeding myself a margarita fruit. Need to take me a swaller.
Welcome to the Purgatorious Pig Tavern, the Dungeons and Dragons and craft beer drinking podcast. I'm your GM, Scott. We'll go around the table real quick to say everyone who's here today.
Eric's here.
Aaron, a.k.a. Short Stack.
Christina, Marlo the Elf.
Cole, Randy the Goliath.
This is a special episode this week. This is week 1 of our beer draft. We will be reviewing the IPAs this week. The way this is going to work is we're going to go down in draft order of the IPAs that were picked. The person who picked the beer will say why they picked it. Everyone else will taste, talk about it, rate it, essentially write down their number, save it to the end on a scale of 1 to 20. Then we'll go through the end, hear what everyone rated, everything, and whoever has the highest number at the end will be ahead after week 1, but we'll have our running total week after week for all the beers. And yeah.
Cool.
Round 1, pick one. Scott, you picked
Dogfish Head's 90-minute IPA.
Oh, yeah. First pick of the draft was the 90-minute.
Oh, yeah.
All right, tell us why you picked it.
I picked this for history's sake. This was Dogfish Head's first IPA they did in their Time series. It's also, to me, the quintessential IPA. It's all the right bitter notes. It's 9%, so it's borderline on the Imperial IPA level. If I had one beer to pick to drink for the rest of my life, this is it.
It's your Desert Island beer?
This is my Desert Island beer. So, yeah, that's why I picked it.
I think a few of us thought you were going to pick, well, we had another beer that we thought you might pick, but this was definitely one that was up there for the Scott pick. And if you didn't have the first pick, I bet somebody would have grabbed it.
Probably the biggest top head of the group. So, yeah, not surprising I went this route.
Yeah. Well, cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
To the draft.
To the draft. We have an honorable mention here with us as well. I've summoned familiar, our Munchkin child, if you hear him in the background.
Well, I was going to say, I mentioned to some of my coworkers that, we were doing an IPA tasting, and this was in the bunch. And I feel like 90 Minute is amazing. It's so approachable, and it's not like gasoline. Like, it's Big Brother, I guess. But it always gets mentioned in the conversation with Big Brother. You know, you say 90 Minute to anybody. And I was like, oh, yeah, 90 Minute's good, but 120 Minute, you know? And I feel like it lives in the shadow, but it's just as good.
Yeah.
Out of the 3, 60, 90, 120, this is the best one. Even though
I agree.
I have a special place in my heart for 120.
I agree with that because 60 comes in almost too hoppy and too IPA-y. And 120 Minute comes in so high alcohol that it's like gasoline.
So boozy.
Yeah.
Oh,
the 90s
I like the
is
boozy.
just the happy medium. That's
Cuts
not a knock
right in
against
the
the
middle.
120 Minute. It's awesome. But
Hey, you can definitely tell this one is more on the Imperial side of things. But it tastes like a real IPA. It's something like, I don't know, just something classic in my mind. People are doing, like, I don't know, IPAs, you can say, a lot of people will say are overhyped. And people are doing like all sorts of crazy things with them right now. And I mean, Scott, can you remind me, when did they come out with 90 Minute? Like, this was at the forefront of the IPA craze.
Yeah, so 90 Minute was the first one they did. So Dogfish had at this point 26, 27 years. So 90 Minute's been around.
that long. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the thing where they use the football machine.
Yeah, they use the electronic old school football machine to continually add the hops during the brewing process, and they do that for 90 minutes. That's how the 90-minute time came to be.
I love it. They also rebranded their bottles. I actually didn't find this in the store when I was first looking for it because the bottle's different. Yeah, they didn't used to have Imperial on there, I think.
We had to ask somebody, actually.
Yeah, I could find it because I was looking for the 90-minute bottle I'm used to seeing, years ago. I guess I don't buy a 90-minute that often, but
The green
More
one?
like I was like that classic off-white
yeah.
with the green Dogfish Head logo.
I
Mhm.
mean, similar to the 120-minute, I think is still the same.
At the end of this, we get to roll a d20 to see who drinks the swill cup.
Low roll.
Low roll. Natty one, you still have to drink natty.
Oh, I drink it as I swill.
Uh,
That's why, at the beer fest, I walk up and I put a little water in there and I swirl it around and I just drink it.
Yeah.
Mostly
Hydrate.
hydration anyway. Yeah. I can say I drank some water, right?
yeah.
I think the tough part about this is going to be drinking these at a reasonable amount of time. We do small pours, do that,
Yeah.
We're
cruise through
doing
it, and then
we're doing like half pours / probably slightly less than a half pour.
We're going to line up a bottle, like cans, and finish them off later, probably.
Yeah, we got a small, probably like 4 ounces or so. Kind of like a flight size. The next beer is Christina's choice. Second pick of the second round, she chose...
Haze by Treehouse. Haze, which is in a purple can, is one of probably the best IPAs, in my opinion, that I've had. When we first moved to Connecticut, we previously lived in Wisconsin, and I felt like I was a pretty decent or pretty avid beer drinker. I had a pretty good taste in IPAs at that point. And at that point also was right when the New England style IPA was becoming more and more popular. So a lot more of those cloudy IPAs. And so when we moved to Connecticut, it was the first time I had ever heard about Treehouse. Partly because it's just so hard to come by, and since you have to get it in person, it's not something that typically makes itself to the Midwest unless you know someone who knows someone. But I was introduced to Haze from a good friend of ours who we knew through Cole from work. It was like, it blew my mind. It was the greatest thing I had ever tasted at that point, and has since had a very special place in my heart, and a beer that anytime I go to Treehouse, I will always seek out this beer. Anytime I have an opportunity to drink it, I will. Yeah, I just love it.
So you're still chasing that high.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've had a haze. Probably.
For those of you who don't know me, purple is my favorite color, and I'm partial to this beer potentially also because it is a beautiful purple can. Oh, and for the record, this is a double IPA. Comes in at 8.2%, but still, in my opinion, it still tastes very smooth. It doesn't feel as boozy as some of the higher percent IPAs that I've had, which is dangerous.
Yeah, that's one of
But
the
I love it.
interesting things about double IPAs is even though they're slightly higher in alcohol content than just a regular IPA, they do tend to be smoother in the aftertaste. The bitterness seems to be tamed a bit more.
Double
compared-
IPAs or...
No, yeah, double IPAs.
Double, and marry it with a hazy, and it's very mellow.
Does anybody have any information on so we just had an Imperial.
Yeah,
This is a double. What
I think
sets
they're the
apart
same.
those different levels of IPA?
pick whatever the brewer wants to call it.
No, that's not true.
No, there's got to be
think it
some
is.
science behind it.
I think that's it.
Eric, talking to your mic.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Got him.
It's fun to yell at me, isn't it?
I think there has to be a difference. You can't just go. I mean,
It's
to a
not like
certain
we don't
extent.
have technology where we can't figure this out right now live.
Jamie, pull it up.
Yeah. I have to imagine there is something about the process that makes it double. Like they double something versus Imperial. It could be related. There's got to be something different.
Double IPAs and Imperial IPAs are in fact the same thing.
What? That's hilarious.
Wow.
Some believe that an IPA that's been turned up to 11. Some believe the origin of the name double IPA comes from the extra I in the abbreviation of Imperial IPA.
That's insane. That can't be true.
What?
So then what's a
I never
triple
heard that.
IPA stand for?
There's 3 eyes.
So
It's an Indian Imperial Indian Pale Ale.
Oh, that's something to think about.
Or is it insanely imperial pale ale? Sorry, insanely
yeah, I was
imperial
gonna-
India pale
yeah.
ale.
I like that. I like the insanely.
yeah, there's not a difference between double and imperial other than whatever the brewer wants to call it.
Yes.
All right, whatever. Fine, Roger.
It's got to roll with the rest of the name, I think. That's how you choose.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I like saying Dippa.
A lot of people do.
A
Christina's.
lot of people.
Well, it makes me think of Dua Lipa for some reason whenever I see it. I don't know why.
Because you're like 2 letters away.
I thoroughly enjoy this beer.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Very good.
The brewery itself is,
It's
somewhat reputable.
Whatever you do, don't sleep on their stouts.
Yeah. Don't sleep on theirs. That's what we always say, right? Yeah, their IPAs are pretty good, but don't sleep on their stouts.
Christine, what sets Haze apart from their other IPAs to you?
I think that it's a bit sweeter and creamier than, say, like Julius or Green.
Thought you were going to say the purple, but that's a good answer too.
That and the purple, yeah.
I'm excited for the next beer because I have actually had it before when I went to California. Randomly stopped at a liquor store and saw the bottle and bought it.
We'll save that one
Yeah, well.
during the banter.
I will. I'm just
I'll
Yeah.
If I'm
give
totally
my-
honest, Scott, you saying you're excited for the next beer. I don't drink IPAs, and I was excited for this because they're nothing but great IPAs.
Yeah.
This brewery.
And I can get
Another
behind
classic.
good IPAs. I'm not an IPA person, as I've said many times on the podcast, and you guys know. But I was excited for the IPA tasting. So
Honestly, if you look at the draft order, that was kind of one of the things that I wanted to bring about is that it was like round 1, round 2, then nothing till round 5 for IPAs.
yeah, it's like the quarterback of the beer draft.
Yeah, you got to get them.
You get the few heavy hitters in the early rounds, and then everybody drafts them a little later.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's like the kicker.
No, it's like the wide receivers.
Not the kicker.
No, you get you
No,
pick
a
your
little
kicker
later.
first.
I mean, you're doing wide receivers and running backs first, and sometimes a tight end, depending on who it is.
Not
And when you
as
think
today.
about it, your kicker scores a lot of points.
No.
in real football they do. In fantasy they don't.
Yeah, but
Last
doesn't
game of the
that
season.
tell you a little something about fantasy? So kick us off, Eric. This is
Trying
your
to.
choice.
My choice is picked in round 2, with the 4th pick in the round 2. I picked Blind Pig by Russian River. Russian River is a brewery known for IPAs, particularly Pliny the Elder and then Pliny the Younger, which is probably their most famous one. I've had all of those, and they're absolutely incredible. They're up there with my favorite IPAs. There's a thing online where a lot of people think that Blind Pig is better than Pliny, and I kind of
What?
want to see if that's true. And I've had this before; it's really good.
I think I have a Pliny somewhere. We should do a side by side. Now I'm curious.
Pliny is in a box.
We did that when you guys got to San Francisco.
We did.
Did we do Blind Pig?
Yep.
Yeah, we did. It was at the Whole Foods across the road from where we were staying.
You were so excited because it was just it happened to be at a Whole Foods of all.
Yeah, right. We walked over there and got groceries.
They walked over there. We did not.
Oh, no,
But,
I'm thinking of when we went to Metallica.
Oh,
You and I went and got
yeah.
groceries.
That was that other store. We couldn't find the coffee for the life of us. It was in the front.
Yeah, it was in a weird location. It's like, what?
Oh, damn.
So cheers, everybody.
Cheers. I went to California 2014 timeframe and stopped at a random liquor store and grabbed a few bottles. And this was one of them I grabbed solely on the label.
Oh, yeah?
I was still newish to craft beer. I didn't know much. Picked it just solely based on the label, it being an IPA, and I agree. This is definitely comparable, if not a smidge better than Pliny.
Yeah? All right. It feels lighter body than the other ones that we've had so far.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, I think this is our first just straight IPA. So yeah, it's on the lighter side. It is, though, it's a quintessential West Coast IPA.
Yeah.
It hits all the right notes.
Have we been bringing up the ABV? Are we stating the ABV as we're going through these?
Yeah, I don't know what this one is. What's this one say?
But that's what we have the internets for.
6.25.
So this might be the lowest, potentially in the running for the lowest ABV. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
Not going to give away my ratings yet, though.
Okay.
I gotta say, this beer, Blind Pig, this taste, it brings up memories of when I first got into craft beers way back in the day.
Yeah.
It just sparks memories. It's like the flavor, that gateway flavor that led you to other beers.
Yeah, it's a very simple, but it's simple not being like a bad word here.
Yeah.
West Coast IPA. Like
Yeah.
they did it right, kept it simple. It's not a hop bomb. It's balance.
Yeah. So the next beer up is what we didn't have another IPA picked until the 5th round. But with the 4th pick in the 5th round, Christina, you chose.
Hazer Tag by Odell Brewing. So this IPA, again, I stick to my hazy IPAs. I'm not very original in that manner. Odell is from out here in Colorado, Fort Collins, very great brewery out here. The first time I ever had this beer, actually, they were sponsoring a young professional events for the zoo, and it was fantastic. It was like an October day, but it was super, super hot, and I drank this beer, and it was incredibly refreshing. Very much enjoyed it while we got to see exotic zoo animals.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was actually really good on a fall day too.
I can see that.
So the way this is going to work is, this is Christina's flex spot. So essentially there's 7 full weeks, but every person here gets 8 beers that will be formally rated. So this week, Christina has 2 IPAs, so her score will essentially be higher after this week just because of the 2 beers. But in future weeks, everyone else will throw in their extra beers and it will even out at the end.
Give us a percentage on this.
7%.
Oh, I'm still
going up.
winning the low.
Oh, back up. We were on the decrease.
This is interesting. Hazy IPAs, I think, outside of the East Coast have been very, very hit or miss, with mostly misses on my part from what I've had. But
Tell us what you rated without telling us what you rated.
But that's not saying that I haven't gone to all the places. So I actually haven't been to Odell. Oh wait, did we go to Odell? I don't think we went to Odell.
No, I
No.
don't think so.
But either way, it's pretty good. It's I think this is more of a hit than a miss, I'll tell you that much. Like we went to a whole bunch of places in Colorado, California, and they're like, "Oh, we have a hazy IPA," and it would be like kind of watery. This is not watery, so
High praise.
We haven't even made it up to Fort Collins since we've been in Colorado. It's been on my list of places to go, but we just haven't made it up that far north.
Now we know what we're doing tomorrow.
We're going to Fort Collins tomorrow.
Yeah.
So because we did have the question earlier, the difference between Imperial and double IPA, we deemed they were the same.
Nice handmade Belgian rug.
tied the room together.
There are New England IPAs and hazy IPAs, so I did look up really quick. Those terms are also interchangeable. There is no difference between a hazy IPA and a New England style IPA.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes
Okay,
sense.
that makes sense. So
So if you're out there thinking difference, there's not.
sounds like the FDA laws have not reached brewery naming convention yet. You can't call like oat milk ice cream. It's a frozen dessert.
Like almond milk is not milk, it's nut milk.
Yeah.
With the very next pick of the draft, the last pick of round 5, the 5.5 spot, Aaron, you chose.
Main beer lunch. Not to be confused with dinner or peeper, or I chose this beer because I had struggled with choosing an IPA, but I really like this brewery. I really like what they do. And I really like the fact that they have a non-New England style beer IPA version in the Northeast, which is a little bit hard to find.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's been harder and harder to find the classic styles that aren't already made, like your 90-minute and your
I actually really appreciate it. It pours like apple juice. When you pour it, it looks like apple juice coming out of the bottle, for what that's worth.
I guess the color
But yeah,
is apple juice.
It's not like a New England IPA. It's like clearer. Well, it's still a little hazy. It's like somewhere between the in-between lands. Cheers.
What's the percentage on this one?
7%.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't taste that high.
No, it tastes like an IPA. I feel like most IPAs aren't like 5, 6, 7 realm.
Yeah, I think they use the hops to mask some of the alcohol, and that was
Yeah.
for the long journey from England to Australia or India or wherever
India.
the hell.
I heard that was a myth. Is that not a myth?
I don't know.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, this is one of Maine's beer company's flagships for a reason.
Oh, you stole my line.
There it is. I wish I had a bell. Ding 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 ding.
So what's the difference between lunch and dinner?
About tree fitty.
Dinner's the double IPA.
Yeah, doubles imperial / double, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is crisp, refreshing. It hits the notes of an IPA like it should. Doesn't try and hide or mask anything with adding too many different types of hops.
The thing that I like about this is whatever malt base they use is really good. It's got a really nice like grain base or grain bill, as they would say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, they would say that.
Lunch is a special whale. Remind me what a whale is.
The largest
in
mammal
terms
in the
of-
world?
In terms of beers,
I thought it was the fastest land animal. No,
That's a
when you're
cheetah.
talking about
We
when you,
talked about whales and what episode was it? We're asking for whales in the basement.
it might have been
Oh, yeah.
the whales in
Oh,
the basement. Yeah,
whales in
a
the
whale when it
basement.
comes to beer.
That's
yeah,
a big difference between a whale and the ocean.
yeah. Whales are big beers that are hard to find.
Ah,
And I guess it depends on where you live too. So like for you guys out there, anything from Treehouse is possibly a whale.
for
I
the
don't
rest
know.
of the country, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the beer snobs would say, but something like
Well-
Pliny the Younger is certainly a whale.
For you guys, it'd be like Big Bad Baptist,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Like the special AleSmith Speedway Stouts, those are whales.
Igor's Dream.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's a
they-
whale. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There'll be logs of it for restaurants, but the actual bottles sell out usually the day of the release.
yeah. They still sell back bottles now and then.
Side note, I want to just read this because I saw this on the bottle and I wanted to just read this for lunch.
On the lunch bottle, yeah.
Lunch is a special whale that has been spotted off the Maine coast since 1982.
Oh,
She has what looks like a bite taken out of her fin, which adds to her unique character. We dedicate this beer to her determination and persistence. Keep on swimming.
Actually, a whale.
It's
A real
actually a
whale.
whale.
A real
They named
whale.
the whale lunch.
the largest mammal on Earth.
It may or may not be Moby Dick that they just said, nah, that's lunch. But
Squiggles.
This is the first IPA I ever liked, and Scott isn't the one who gave it to me, which I thought was the funniest thing.
Oh no.
He had been trying really hard to get me to like an IPA, and our neighbors down the street had just been there, and they had it. They're like, "Do you want a beer?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "Oh, I actually like this. It's an IPA."
that's awesome. That's the only way that story would have went, where Ashley tries an IPA.
With me not around. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so perfect.
But that goes back to like the comment I made earlier about IPAs and double IPAs, where double IPAs are not quite as bitter and smoother. Ash will enjoy almost every double IPA I give her. Like I gave her Fear Movie Lions by Stone. She enjoyed it.
Ooh.
Like she's like, this is really good. I'm like, it's a double IPA. She's like, really? I'm like, yep.
I don't know.
Now you have me curious. I think my IPA selection might be a double as well. I think I am biased towards doubles.
You're a hazy imperial, so yeah, you're a
Yeah.
juicy double.
Well,
I'm a juicy double.
let's
Soundbite we should keep forever.
Mm-hmm.
let's get into this juicy double, Cole. With the third pick in the 6th round, Cole, you pick.
Two Roads, mega juicy.
Yeah. Tell us about this beer and why.
I always knew about Too Juicy. Too Juicy isn't something that Two Roads has been doing for a while. When we lived in Connecticut, Too Juicy wasn't my bag, wasn't something I was about. And actually, when we moved to Colorado, I had a friend that had previously lived in Connecticut that loves Too Juicy, or Mega Juicy, Mega Juicy, what we're trying right now. And he's like, I got a 4-pack, and my buddy sent it to me from Connecticut. You want one? And I was like, yeah, definitely. And so, we were hanging out playing pool in his basement, and I had a Mega Juicy. And I was like, where on earth has this been my entire life? This IPA is killer. This thing is so good. It's juicy. It's just so flavorful and delicious. And I'm like, this might be the best IPA I've ever had in my life. I can't stress it enough. I don't like IPAs, but I think I like doubles. But aside, this is yeah, I was floored, so had to get my hands on some myself through my own means because this is just good stuff.
Ironically enough, I'm pretty sure that they sell this at Total Wine Bias now.
Do they?
Yes.
This beer clocks in at 10.2%.
Holy shit! I was not expecting that. It's mega.
Let's go.
I don't
It
think
is
my
mega. You
kinda
my
taste
chart
it,
didn't
too.
go up that high, but I shouldn't have started it at 0.
Yeah, at first look, this beer is misleading,
Yeah.
especially as a juicy imperial. It is very clear.
Yeah.
It's surprising the clarity on it.
I'm actually getting more West Coasty style out of this than I am juicy, like hazy IPA. Not that that's a bad thing. This kind of
agree with
reminds me
that.
of like the old, not old. I mean, I guess it's old now, but like the early, which we've talked about before, the early 2010s, like IPA craze to just put as much gasoline into it as you could. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
a little bit, I mean, honestly, like it was weird, but I liked it. And I'm a little bit nostalgic for that. And this kind of takes me back there. So it's kind of good.
Oh, did you say early 2000s or early 2010s?
Early 2010s.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, late 2000s.
A decade after 2000.
I thought you said early 2000s. I was gonna be like, oh, that's like when I got into Candlebox.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
like,
got
oh,
tickets.
No, Lucy came out in '95.
You got tickets?
Yeah, I got tickets.
You got
today.
tickets?
Yeah.
Not a sponsor. Not
Can't-
clearly
can't-
not.
It's Candlebox's last hurrah.
Wait, where? Where are we going?
We're going to Boston.
That's awesome.
Woo!
This was a plant.
Yes.
I brought up Candlebox because I had to bring it up. Oh no, because I'm staring at Lucy behind you guys. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah. Ash and I are going to do a bunch of shit. But
Yeah.
we're going to Boys to Men,
Where?
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Is that in Oakdale?
Foxwoods.
Foxwood?
And then the four of us are going to Primus, Perfect
Primus.
Circle, and
Mm-hmm.
Pussifer.
Pucifer.
What? Pussifer?
Who?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's another. It's another.
Perfect Circle and Pussifer are like 50-50 the same band.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know
Yeah.
we were seeing them. I would.
You like have two more guys on tour and you get whole nother band. So
Yeah,
as long as Maynard can sing for
It's another
two
Maynard
band
band.
sets.
Is
it like-
Tool's gonna be in Colorado February. I was trying to go to that, but
Is it like Lucifer with a P?
No, it's like Pussifer with a P.
no, it's like it's-
No, 'cause that would be Pucifer.
That's
Yeah,
like
it's
two
Pussifer.
S's.
Like pussy?
No, I thought it was
it's
P-U-C.
No, it's
Oh,
Lucifer with a P.
yeah, it's
It is?
Lucifer
It
with a
is.
P. Yeah, Pucier. Yeah. Wait, when is that show? Thanks for the invite.
Early April.
Yeah, Lucifer with a P. Anyway, that might have been Two Roads Mega Juicy was a little surprising for me.
Yeah?
I'm trying a new personal rating system, and didn't quite expect that to land where it did.
I'm proud of you for having some sort of science because my ratings are entirely arbitrary.
They used to be. I'm trying something new. I'll let you in on the secret later.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that I can stress this enough. Cole Randy does not like IPAs, but he loves this. Like, we have a few of them in the house, and I'm not allowed to touch them.
It's delicious. It actually tastes, for being, if you compare this to like 90 Minute, right? 90 Minute's 9%. This is 10%. But this actually tastes boozier on almost a whole other level than the 90 Minute.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at with the whole how much gasoline they could put into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Like you buy it and you read the label and the beer doesn't match expectations.
Is that in a good way or a bad way?
To me, it's not a hazy IPA at all.
I agree.
It doesn't
Yeah.
hit any of the notes of a hazy IPA. From that standpoint, the labeling is slightly misleading, in my opinion.
I mean, do they classify Too Juicy as a hazy IPA?
It is
and then they just roll
juicy.
it over?
It is juicy.
Maybe it's less hazy because it has more alcohol than Too
Is this
Juicy.
an Area 2 beer?
No.
No.
This is
No.
just straight up.
It's definitely juicy and boozy at the same time.
It's definitely beer.
It's definitely
But-
beer.
But I'm not sure what kind of beer.
Right.
quite.
I think if they just called it a double or an imperial,
You would have rated it higher.
yeah, because it does like it still got a good score, but
Semantics. Fuck you. -2.
Wait, I have to change my rating system to include does it have a funny or accurate name?
but like if you buy a
Funny
beer
or
expecting
accurate.
something and it's not that,
Yeah.
Oh man, if I changed my score to be like funny and or accurate name, lunch would get a 0.
Or a 10 or 20.
I
True
feel
that.
like it's
Doesn't
dry
taste
humor.
like Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
But you could make a lunch out of it.
All right.
So what do we got? We got the last IPA of the bunch here. This is at the very bottom of the draft. Round 8. Last pick of round 8, actually. Scott, what did you choose?
so I took the Alchemist Heady Topper as my flex spot here. To me, it's crazy that no one else took this, and it was one of those things where I needed a flex. And I'm like, the fact it was on the board, I'm like, I'm going to take this just so no one else could. This is borderline on the whale beer list. It's not overly easy to get. It's gotten easier, but still not
Yeah.
super easy to get.
Yeah. You guys don't have it in Colorado, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But they are in Stowe, Vermont. This is an 8% IPA. It's their flagship,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is.
So it's just one of those where it's like the
It's
fact it was
actually-
on the board, I had to take it.
It's actually this is the very first hazy IPA.
Right.
They were the ones who
Really?
created it. Yeah, this is the very first one. That's why when you see it, if you read the top of the can, it says drink from the can, right?
Yeah, this is one of the actual few beers where they say don't pour it out, drink it from the can. Yeah, it's just a great beer.
Well, let's try it.
It's uber bitter.
I love it. To back up
It
Cole's
tastes
comment.
like an IPA.
I think it's once we go through the scoring, it'll come out for me. Bitterness, I'm not good with. I like it being smooth. That's the hard part. The flavor of the hops is the critical thing in an IPA. The critical flavor, I should say, not thing. And that's what always gets me is when it's really bitter and it's just not smooth in my opinion. So this one's really bitter.
Yeah, I mean, some of that could be how it got to you.
Elevation.
Some of these beers you're supposed to keep cold and not like get to room temperature, keep them, in the same environment in which they were canned. Obviously, they were canned in some New England hazy mountains.
Hazy Hill.
So when you get up to the elevation of Colorado, there's a little bit of difference there.
Yeah, it's a difference in the travel, the elevation.
Yeah. That's
the pressurization. that
we
comes
must have
with
sent
it.
this beer 2 months ago. Rarely, I
GG.
think, does a heady topper that lands in Connecticut last more than a couple weeks,
Yeah, if that.
if
yeah.
that.
Places that get Heady Topper in Connecticut usually are out of it within a week.
Yeah.
That should be a disclaimer on all of our
But it's
Boring.
canned. It's canned. It's there. I mean, but let's look at the other side, right?
no.
Hayes kept its its feel, right?
That's true. I was going to say add 2 points for every New England beer, but that would include Haze
Hayes
2 points.
or Mega Juicy.
Hayes kept itself.
I'll add 2 points for everything. If
And
that's how you
Blind
really
Pig.
feel.
No. Stop.
+2, 2, Mega Juicy +5.
Yeah.
We'll be there.
This
No.
beer was something that I first had because my cousin made a special trip to Vermont to pick it up and bring it down on his way back to for Thanksgiving. He lived in...
It wasn't Cam, was it?
No.
Tyler?
No. Keep going. No, you haven't met this cousin. Matt.
What?
It was Matt. He
No, not
came
Matt.
through
No way.
Connecticut. He had visited, or he had a friend go up to Vermont. He lived in...
A van by the river?
He lives in Albany. And then he brought it to Thanksgiving, and I was eternally grateful that he shared it. It was amazing.
What was that? Heady Topper?
Heady Topper, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How many
sorry.
years ago was that, though?
Oh, that was... I have it on Facebook. I have a special post for it.
So it must have been like when they were first starting.
Yeah.
So we've tried all the IPAs. Every IPA was good in its own right. And there was a variety of flavors. We traveled East Coast to
West Coast.
West Coast.
To West Coast.
all East Coast except for 2. Yeah,
No.
East Coast to West Coast. Yeah, I
No,
guess.
East Coast, Mountain Range, West Coast.
How far west did we make it? What's west? Oh,
What?
Blind Pig. Yeah,
Blind
I guess,
Pig.
yeah. We made it up to the west.
Yeah.
We spanned the country. Nothing in the middle. No flyover states. We had a couple Colorado, or one Colorado, 2 west, and the rest were the East Coast. Biased a little bit, but let's see how everybody comes in on our rankings or on our ratings.
Yeah, so the way this is going to work is we'll go down the line of beers. Everyone will give their ratings, and then we'll add them up. And it's going to be a total. We're not going to do an average here.
No,
So
total.
It's going to be total. So max score for any given beer is going to be 80. So 80 would mean it's the highest score you can get. So we'll go 90-minute first. Eric, what did you give 90-minute?
17.
Aaron,
18.
Cole,
19.
and Christina.
18.
If someone wants to do the math, we'll go through the totals at the end.
It's 72.
For Hayes, Eric,
17.
Aaron,
16.
Cole,
18.
and I gave it an 18. So Hayes gets a 69. All right. For Blind Pig, Aaron,
19.
Cole,
16.
Christina,
17.
and I give it a 19.
71.
So 71. All right. Hazer, Eric,
16.
Aaron,
15.
Cole,
15.
and I give it a 17.
I'll do the math on that later.
Lunch, Eric,
19.
Cole,
15.
Christina.
16.
I give it an 18.
I gave it a 17.
This is not yours. You don't get to do it.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
Mega, Eric,
17.
Aaron,
19.
Christina,
17.
and I give it a 16.
Oh, Scott's the one I wanted. Scott's the one I needed.
You wanted him. You wanted him to convert.
I wanted him to come through, but he just gave it a 16.
Hetty, Eric,
18.
Aaron,
18.
Cole,
15.
Christina.
18.
Oh.
Damn.
All right.
Jeez.
That math is hard. You're calculating. I gotta do like a
Are you guys checking each other?
No.
Aaron, did you do the calculations?
No. I was barely paying attention.
What day is it? Is it the Wednesday?
All right. The end of the bet, out of 80, Dogfish at 90-minute came in first with a 72. Second was Russian River's Blind Pig at a 71. Tied for third was Alchemist and Treehouse's Haze at a 69. Fifth place is Main Beer Lunch. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sixth place.
Ouch.
Mega Juicy also got a 69. So tied for third is a 3-way tie with Alchemist, Two Roads, Mega Juicy, and Treehouse Haze. So that kind of makes sense. Fifth place is Main Beer Lunch. And
With what did Lunch get?
68.
Obviously.
Oh, with a 68. Pulling up the caboose is in sixth place is the Hazerton by Odell with a 63. All around, good scores. And see you next time for the next types of beers.
Go like, subscribe, follow Instagram, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music.
Tell us what IPAs you would have chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us where we were wrong as
Yeah.
far as our ratings.
Come at me, bro.
All right. This has been a Widgety Widgets production.
Ooh.